So,
All right.
so the last
So,
thing that happened was uh the construct in my head had dealt some rather grievous, potentially fatal wounds to my boy Nux, who is currently occupying these dreamscapes with me as like my partner and anchor, because we such bros. Up then.
okay. So you hear the Tismanu counting backwards. He says he's going to count backwards from 10. And when he reaches 1, you. Okay. So you wake up. And Nux sort of wakes up, but I mean, he's lost a lot of blood. Keeper actually pulls you aside. And oh, geez, I got to remember this accent now. He says, uh, there may be a bigger problem. You may need more than one anchor.
Okay.
If you trust the other two, I suggest they also go with you.
Well, they wouldn't be here if I didn't trust them, but how do I know they're going to be safe?
You don't. Okay. So, you all reassemble in the room that has the slabs. Now there are 4. Um, the Tismanu is standing at where your heads are going to be, and the keeper is waiting by the doorway. You all walk in, all lay down, and the Tismanu says to close your eyes. Trying to remember exactly how this all went, but and he says to focus on your breathing, and you're going to we're going to count down from 10. So, when you open your eyes, you are in the streets of New Orleans. Okay. So the 3 of you run off to Jackson Square.
I'm keeping an eye open for any of those like staticky distortion, this is where your memories don't match effects.
Yep. Don't see any while you're racing there. Once you get there in front of the St. Louis Cathedral, can't
Same as,
remember
yeah.
names. Yeah, the big cathedral that's in Jackson Square is a burning cross, and on that burning cross is no. That was a memory I would have liked to not have relived.
I'm not picking them, man. Why am I remembering this? What happened differently?
Well, you're not going to always pop in a memory that's different. You just are kind of shuffling around and looking at memories.
Great. Well, this is so does that mean that we're sort of Assassin's Creed desynchronizing from the memory or
Yeah.
okay.
You like while you're in this room, as soon as you got in it and closed the door, it almost was like, you know what I mean? Like you kind of like were sucked into something, and now it feels like you're in a like nice warm cocoon of safety.
Mm. Is that like or wait, did you say we're still in the Plus Arms?
Yeah,
Like,
you're in your old room at the Place d'Armes.
well, how do we move on to the next one?
Uh, pick an object, open the door. I don't know.
Pick a door at random and open it up.
Okay. As you open the door, there is a weird flash. You find yourself, everything shifts around you, and you find yourself sitting at a bar off of Bourbon Street during Mardi Gras in New Orleans. What year was it that you were turned? 2002?
Something like that.
Something like that. Whatever year it was you were originally turned. And you are sitting at a bar.
A pulse?
Yep. you even reflect in the mirror. And you're sitting at the bar, and as you're sitting there, uh, Rose, Juliet, and Nux are here, but they look like they're ghosts. They haven't taken on anybody's memory, any person in your memory's persona for this memory. And as you sit at the bar and look to the bar stool next to you, you get that weird, like, staticky, like, zzz, zzz. Okay. So as you are trying to see or rework the static or whatever it is you're trying to do, you start to see the shape of a very thin woman dressed in a scantily clad purple and green and yellow dress, long blonde hair, perfectly manicured nails, pale.
Pearl?
You're, yep. You start to see her form sitting in the bar stool next to you. And you hear her say, "Well, William, I'm really glad that we've gotten to know each other over these last few nights." Um, while you're sitting there, Nux and Rose are trying to, like, get your attention, and Juliet's trying to, like, stop them from causing a scene because they don't want to disrupt your memories too badly. But then you
Oh,
hear Rose, "Perception! Look around!" As you are perusing the crowd, you see two familiar faces. One you don't recognize quite as quickly because every time you've seen this person, her hair is different. It's Sarah Cobbler, the Ordo responsible for you and the rest of your original coterie being turned that night in New Orleans. And you see her briefly, like a flash of her face, and then her head turns. She's got purple hair. And she disappears into the crowd. But another face that you'll never probably forget, Josephine, is in the crowd, and it looks like she's stalking you. You suddenly feel the need to go to the restroom.
do you mind if I just absent myself for 1 second? I'll be right back.
No, take your time.
Get up, walk through the crowd, eyes on Josephine for one moment.
You don't see her anymore. As you make your way back towards the bathroom, there is nobody in the hallway, and suddenly you feel a tap on your shoulder. And when you turn around, it's Josephine, but suddenly you have no control over your mind. And she tells you, "You're going to meet me in Louis Armstrong Park at 11 p.m. tonight." And then as soon as you come to, she's gone, and you can't remember. Like, you remember that you broke this memory and that you were talking with Pearl, but the way you felt in real life at this moment was you don't remember Pearl or any of it. So it's a weird, like, conflicting thought in your head.
Do I make a choice about which one is real?
Yeah, you can make a choice.
Well, obviously this happened. I'm going with this.
Suddenly Nux is next to you. "All right there, pal."
Think we're breaking one.
"Okay, well, good. Good on you."
Okay. This is it. This is the night. This was the
This is
last. This is the last time I was human.
Oh,
Haunting thought. Like Williams shook.
yeah, sorry, mate.
I have to keep telling myself this isn't real and I can't change this.
Well, hey, if you did change it and you didn't become you know, like me, we would have never met. And that would have been a shame.
Yeah. I just
And who would have saved Rose?
you.
Well, I wouldn't have been part of the little group.
It feels a little self-aggrandizing if I say that it's such a good thing that I became what I became so that I could save the day. I,
Hey, look, everything happens for a reason, okay?
God,
You gotta stop. No, no.
you're implying there's a plan.
Yeah, but it doesn't have to be a plan made by a higher being, does it?
I'm gonna listen to the chat. This does totally sound like a break.
You're hanging on.
Okay.
Uh, you're hanging on. Nux's words are having an impact on you. As you start walking to the door to go to Louis Armstrong Park, you open the door to walk out the bar and you find yourself standing in Louis Armstrong. This is a different night because while you're standing there, you are standing close to a bench and a trash can. And digging through the trash can, or sorry, picking up trash and putting it in the trash can, is a very old kindred that you know and trust dearly, the Native American vampire Sam.
Why didn't you stop them?
It is not my place to meddle.
I'm sorry, but a handful of fresh kindred being taken all at the same time against their will, how do you justify the power that you have if you don't use it to try to
So there's no static. However, you do feel like the ground starts to feel a little uneasy and you all start to feel a little queasy. Um, as you all sort of like fall backwards. But then you like so you like fall back but then like pop right back up and you're in Louis Armstrong Park still. Sam is there, but he's sort of far away. And sorry, I'm trying to like switch the music and talk at the same time. It's a lot to handle. Um Sam is far away and Juliet is standing next to you and she goes, "Oh no." And she is suddenly rushed to where Sam is and she's standing there and it's almost like you guys are moved together so you can hear what they're saying. And as you are moved together, you become Sam. Juliet stands there and it's like she's trying to fight it. She doesn't want to say what she's gonna say in this memory, but she doesn't. And she says, "I've told you what I've seen, and I know you're gonna want to stop what's gonna happen here, but you can't." You hear Josephine's voice saying, "Isn't it funny how the people you always choose to trust just lie to you?" And suddenly, you are shifted away from here, away from Louis Armstrong Park, and you find yourself in Pearl's bedroom on what was, in your memory, your first date with her. However, now you know it wasn't actually your first date with Pearl.
There was a picture of a guy, 200 older, years from years ago. And there's a guy who looked just like me.
Yep. And as you were looking at that picture, Pearl steps out in a nice, form-fitting, long black evening dress. Well, are you ready for our date?
If you don't mind my asking, who's that?
Oh. She walks over to the picture like she did in your memory. Well, this was my sire.
I notice you use the past tense.
He died a very long time ago. I'm sorry, I'm going into British, and she's Southern. He died a very long time ago.
I'm sorry. I can't help but notice a certain resemblance.
Well, yes, that's what drew me to you originally.
And now?
Well, and now I'm just drawn to you for you because honestly, you may look like him, but you are nothing like he was.
Search for the antidote.
All right. So once you exhausted the basement area, but all of you made your way up to the second floor, which was the offices. And there was a particular office um, that you thought you should try first. You just had a feeling.
Yeah.
And you're in the office, and as you were searching through it, you happen to find a safe with the antidote in it. However, now, rethinking about this memory, when you go into this office, it's staticky.
The whole thing or parts of it?
As you approach the door, if you're looking around, you notice when you look at the door that there is a figure hanging onto the door frame. And the more you focus on that figure, the more it becomes clear that it's Mezzo, the Morbus Ordo, who is the sister of Sarah Cobbler, the one who was responsible for all you all getting turned that night. And she says, "It's in here."
Why didn't they remember? I look at her and say, "What are you doing here?"
"We don't have enough time to explain."
Well, come with us. We can help you too.
"That'll just put a target even more on your back. Quick, come in here."
Come with her.
She opens up the safe and hands you the antidote. "It's Savoy and Josephine that you can't trust. Sarah is not as bad as she seems."
Rubber gloves. Open doorknob.
So in it is Mezzo, and if you recall, she was really sick and like coughing up the blood. She couldn't like keep it in.
Mezzo, are you okay?
She couldn't talk because you guys had figured out back then that like she was of the bloodline morbus and that the diseases that she had inside her were eating away at her.
Right.
And the only way to save her was you guys had to get the blood out. And all of a sudden you hear gunshots firing in the background and explosions. And suddenly there's a huge explosion of fire, and all of you are thrown backwards, and you land hard on a concrete floor in an old abandoned warehouse um, with Artemis is there, but it's Nux. Soros is there, but it's Juliet. Callie is there, but it's Rose. And you hear a man laughing as explosions of fire are coming from the ceiling.
Oh, no, 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 not now. Not here. Please tell me I misremembered this.
What's going on?
This is the night I killed someone.
Oh shit.
Oh, please, please, please tell me this was a fake memory. Please, 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 please.
Uh, uh, a
Ex-
fire explodes right
ex-
by you
explosions of fire. I must roll for frenzy because
Yep.
I did frenzy then.
because you did frenzy then.
Okay, I've got a. I didn't have 10 at the time. I wasn't as good at meditating, so call it 7.
You didn't pass it then. You don't pass it now. Yep, you can feel the beast rising up inside of you, and you smell blood because unfortunately, this criminal serial killer cut himself.
Yes, yes, but maybe it was fear. Maybe it could have been fear because the beast also feels fear. Maybe I just ran.
Nope, you did not. You ran
Oh,
straight for the man as Soros, Artemis, and Callie all tried to stop you. And Artemis almost did, but was too scared to actually hurt you. And so you broke free and you
and
bit down.
I tore out.
You tore out. You hear Josephine's voice say, "You never think of the whole picture, do you?" And now you suddenly find yourself whisked away to a dock. Standing in front of you, you have cornered the serial killer, Howard Epps. Different than the one that you killed. The one you killed was a puppet of Howard Epps. And next to Howard Epps is your sire, Josephine.
She had just embraced him,
Yep.
making him my brother.
Um, so this whole scene is staticky. While you're trying to push through it, you're suddenly remembering another memory. You're not taking there, but you're remembering another memory. While you were trying to find Epps after he broke out, you were left alone because Artemis and Soros went separated from you to go check somewhere else. And Josephine approached you and told you where to find Epps. Excuse me, and then started whispering some other things in your ear, that she would be at the dock, that this is what happened. And you let her get away. So when you got to the dock, that's what you remembered. But what really happened is you got to the dock and Epps was there alone and he was crying. And he had a gun in his hand. And he turned to you and he said, "This isn't gonna work, is it?"
No,
Oh, and also when Josephine was screwing with your memories, she told you he was your brother.
no, no, that won't work.
He told me that this was the right way, that I was doing a service.
Who did?
A man named Anton Savoy. And then she came along and got her paws in all of it. It was all meant to just show you and a man named Donovan the way.
What way? To what end?
Just to show what we're all capable of. But I was fooled. And you gotta kill me.
Why?
Because I can't live like this.
You're not living.
But I'm not dying either. And that's when Donovan pulled up.
Who did this to you?
She never told me her name.
Red hair?
This was all supposed to be to punish him. He looks over at Donovan. Remind him of his sins. But then she came along and I don't know what it was she wanted to prove about you.
Whatever it is you've done, you don't deserve to be used as a pawn in somebody else's games. But what you have done, what makes you think that you shouldn't stick around and try to make it right? You have, theoretically, all the time in the world to make it right. You can start right now. And you can stay that course as long as you have the will and the stomach to do it.
And are you gonna make it right?